Welcome to the first episode of a new series, or segment, whatever you'd like to call it, where instead of looking at old movies on VHS, we'll be looking at films on streaming services like Netflix or Hulu. That way, if I review a movie that you might be interested in, you can just go ahead and watch it. That is, if you have the subscription service that the movie is in. If not, you can just rent it, or you can get a free trial. And just keep making new emails. Let's get started. Super Dark Times is a 2017 coming-of-age drama thriller starring Owen Campbell, Charlie Tahan, and is directed by Kevin Phillips. So this is the part where I give a synopsis of the film. But I'm not doing that today. I strongly suggest you watch Super Dark Times before watching this video. If you like movies like Stand By Me, Donnie Darko, or even Fargo, then I'm pretty sure you're going to like the movie. I recommend you avoid any trailers, plot synopses, or even movie reviews until you watch the film for yourself. So that was your spoiler warning. Don't say I didn't warn you. Either way, I've got to say, I went into this film knowing nothing about it, and as the credits rolled, I just sat there in silence thinking, what the hell just happened? I wasn't disappointed. In fact, I loved it. I didn't know what I was expecting. I just knew the film took place in the mid-90s. So, what made the movie so great? Well, in my opinion, it was the chemistry between the characters. Specifically Josh and Zach. Two geeky best friends riding bikes and pretty much doing everything together. In their first scene, we find out they both have a crush on the same girl, and we get a sense of jealousy between them. But nothing happens. Everything is so cool. However, as the movie progresses, we see their friendship fall apart. They stop hanging out, they don't talk to each other as often, and when they do, they argue. While that's happening, they're both living with the guilt of Daryl's death, who was accidentally killed with a samurai sword. Many people might consider this the biggest aspect of the movie, and while that is true, I think what made the movie work so well was its strong subplot, with both guys liking the same person. They could have been there for each other, but instead it's like Josh is trying to one-up Zach. Owen Campbell's performance as Zach is incredible. Without ever saying anything, I can tell the guilt is eating him up. The night Daryl died, Allison and him are in his room talking, and you can tell he wants to talk to someone but can't. He tries to talk about it with Josh, but now he's ignoring him. He tries to talk to the middle schooler, but he gets pushed away. Again. There's a sense of solitude. Allison always tries to talk to him, but again, he can't tell her. There's some dream sequences in the film that I thought were done very well. I personally like these because we get to dive further into the characters' emotions. They're also creepy as hell. The first one shows that Zach needs to get Daryl literally off his chest, and the second one has Zach in the woods. It seems like he's going to find Daryl's body, but instead we see Allison there, almost naked. They end up having sex on a pile of leaves, but things get pretty awkward when he turns around and sees Josh staring right at him, almost in anger. This is the part that made me feel the most uncomfortable. We can see the rage in Josh's eyes. At this point, Zach is almost not even thinking of Daryl. He's in the woods, probably having sex in the same spot where his body is. This is when the subplot really takes over. Zach wants to be with Allison, but he feels guilty about it because he's aware Josh wants the same. Zach has a bunch of opportunities to hook up with her, but never takes them. At first it seems like he's not ready. His friend just died and he needs some space. But then I started thinking, maybe the real reason is because he doesn't want his friendship with Josh to end. What I loved about the film is that this love triangle is not the main focus, but it's always there. You can feel the tension from the first scene with these two characters to their last. Owen Campbell and Charlie Tahan have wonderful chemistry. I really do believe these two are best friends, which made their final confrontation in the end much more effective. I respect the filmmakers for taking this in that direction, because in real life this kind of stuff really does happen. Maybe not the physical stabbing, but the mental stabbing, if that makes sense. Friends grow apart, relationships are broken, sometimes because of a girl who in the end didn't end up with either person. The movie felt very real in every aspect. The screenplay by Ben Collins is amazing, the acting is very natural, and the cinematography is absolutely gorgeous. I love the shots of the teenagers riding their bikes. I also got a strong Astoria vibe with a soft lighting and foggy streets, which is fitting because when I think of Astoria, my first instinct is Goonies, and the first act makes me kind of think of what the Goonies could have been like in high school. The production design was also outstanding. It was very nostalgic seeing those TVs in the background, the posters in the rooms, even the phones. Look at that caller ID. I haven't seen one of those in forever. I did like that the film didn't feel 90s. I knew it took place in that time, but I never felt like the director was shoving it in my face like, oh, did you see that? That's from the 90s. It was very humble in that aspect. I also love the music and sound design. They both work together to give off a very creepy and unsafe feeling throughout the film. Just like the characters in the movie, I felt paranoid the entire time. I especially love the sound in the dream sequences. It reminded me of It Comes at Night, with the loud sounds and spooky imagery.
Zach.
Kevin Phillips did such an amazing job at directing the film, especially for it being his first feature. The psychological aspects were very effective. They really creeped me out and never felt forced. Not only did the movie make me feel nervous, but it affected me on a personal level. It's been a week since I saw it and I'm still thinking about it. How amazing is that? One really interesting directing choice my brother noticed is that every time something bad is going to happen, weed is involved. Daryl dies over a fight between Josh after he was caught with the stolen weed. It's hinted that Josh killed John, the bully from the beginning of the film, after Josh told him he would hook him up with weed. And lastly, Josh goes over to Megan's house to deliver some weed and uses that opportunity to kill Megan and tie up Allison. I highly doubt this was a coincidence, but even if it was, I found it very interesting. It reminds me of how in The Godfather, whenever there's oranges, it usually signifies that someone's going to die. I wasn't sure what to think of the ending. At first, it felt abrupt and left me feeling very confused, but after thinking about it and reading some articles, I've come to really appreciate it. Basically, Zach and Josh are out of the picture now. The entire movie was focused on them. Allison would try to be more involved in Zach's life, but kept getting pushed out. In the end, we finally see things from her perspective. She got in the middle of these two guys, and because of that, she was swirled into this horrible situation. Now she has both physical and mental scars in the back of her neck. In class, the boy behind her notices them and she lets her hair down, hiding her scars, afraid that the world will define who she is by those. She never meant any harm, she just had a crush on Zach, and because of that, she has marks on the back of her neck. 2 of them to be exact. Maybe the scars represent Zach and Josh? Who knows? And what was up with the deer in the opening scene? I simply took that as a sign that some pretty nasty shit was gonna go down, but I'm pretty sure there's something more to it. Allison sees the officer put the animal out of its misery, so that means the film starts and ends with her. Oh, and how come when Zach was getting stabbed, that little girl was just watching like, nothing I haven't seen. This is a movie I definitely plan on rewatching over again to see if I can dig deeper. If you have any theories yourself, please leave them in the comments below. I'd love to see what you guys think. Overall, Super Dark Times is another movie that reminded me why I love film so much. It's a very honest movie with great themes, nerve-wracking sound and music, awesome production design, beautiful cinematography, and great direction. I can understand why some people might not like it and have their problems with the film, and that's perfectly understandable. That's the beauty of cinema. I might love the film, but you might hate it. And if you did, I'm curious to know why. Anyways, I'm going to give Super Dark Times 9.998 out of 10 Lonely Silver Surfers.
And that's all I got for you today. I hope you enjoyed the film, and I hope you enjoyed I hope you guys liked the movie, and I hope you enjoyed this video. The goal with this new series is to bring attention to more underrated films that people sometimes don't even know exist. I was lucky enough to find out about this film through Chris Stuckman, who briefly talked about it in his most underrated films of 2017 video. So if you aren't already watching them, you should probably go do that. He's pretty damn good. Anyways, thanks for watching. I really appreciate you guys sticking around till the end, and come back next week where we'll take a look at what else is on streaming services.